Good evening. This is Henry Dotson, and welcome to Think About It Thursday from Our Journeys of Faith Life Coaching. This is our weekly podcast where we talk about things that we want to think about this week. And we're talking about the spiritual cancer journey that a Christian would take. And so we're just walking down that path of the spiritual cancer journey. And so today we are moving on picking up where we left off. So last week we were talking about crossing over into that threshold of the unknown cancer world. So this is where you are actually making decisions about who your oncologist will be, what hospital you're going to be going to. You're making decisions about the treatment plan that you're going to take on. So on your medical cancer journey, you're just beginning to get into this. Now, on the spiritual side, we've talked about prior to this, we talked about preparing yourself spiritually for this battle, because cancer does not just affect the body and the mind, it also affects the spirit. So we talked about preparing for the battle, and now we're actually beginning to enter the battle from a spiritual perspective. And last week, we talked about the first thing that you needed to do from a spiritual perspective is you need to find your tribe. And prior to that, when we were talking about preparing for the battle, we talked about having hope and having a reason for hope. And we talked about that, and that you should have hope as you go into this battle with cancer. And so last week we started with the need to find your tribe. And your tribe consists of all those people who are going to be part of your spiritual support network. So these are people who are also Christians. These are also people of faith who have decided that they are going to come alongside you and travel this journey with you. So this is not to be confused with your medical team or your healthcare providers. These are people who are family and friends typically, and loved ones who happen to be Christians and are willing to invest in spending time and taking whatever activities they need to do to support you as you go through this journey, this cancer journey on the spiritual side. So we talked just a little bit about the need to find your tribe. So tonight, we're going to talk a little bit more about that and who should be in this tribe. And the first and foremost is the person, even though they have a role in the medical side of things, we think that it's also important that they also are people of faith. And that person is what we call the caregiver. And so on this Think About It Thursday, we wanted you to think about this person called the caregiver. So think about the role, the care of a caregiver. Do you have one? Are you thankful for yours and the roles he or she has taken on? Is it difficult for you to accept help? So this kind of speaks to something that I think might be important for Christians as they go into a cancer journey. Is for some unknown reason, there's this misconception that when you go through this cancer journey, that you should do it alone, or you don't need much help, that you should just rely on your faith and your trust in God, and it's just you and Jesus, and that's all that you need to go through this cancer journey. Well, nothing is further from the truth. The Bible does not support that. There's never anything in Scripture that talks about being a Lone Ranger Christian where you just go out there and you're battling all by yourself. So that's the reason for that last question. Do you have difficulty accepting help? Because some Christians do have a challenge with that, particularly those who have been accustomed to being the one who offers help, not the one to receive help. So this notion of a caregiver is someone that's going to be alongside, and we'll get into that when we talk a little bit further. But that's the first person that you need to be um, on your side when you start to find your tribe. So let's delve into this a little bit and talk and see what we said about this on our Mindset Monday. So in Mindset Monday, we said you need a caregiver. When you're diagnosed with cancer, the first member of your tribe should be your caregiver. The caregiver role is defined by the American Cancer Society as the person who most often helps the person with cancer and is not paid to do so. I want to take a quick moment to make a comment on the logo that you see in the upper right corner. You'll notice that there's a double logo there. One is our normal logo, and the other is our logo again in pink with a pink background. And that's because October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So we have the pink logo there just as a reminder that you should learn about breast cancer and what it's all about, especially if you have a loved one who has breast cancer or you're dealing with it. It's good to know because knowledge will help to eliminate some of the fear. So each month there is some type of cancer that it's the awareness month. And so for October, it happens to be Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So back to what we're discussing here, you need a caregiver. And as I said, the American Cancer Society has defined this role. I think the main takeaway from that is this is someone who does not get paid. This is not like you go hire a caregiver. This is not to be confused with the people who are giving you medical care. Those are the terminology for them is your healthcare providers. This is a caregiver, which is a person that is someone that you know well, intimately well. It may even be your spouse. It could be a child. It could be a friend, but it's someone that is close to you that is going to travel very closely alongside with you. This definition from the American Cancer Society only begins to define the role of a caregiver. Here are some of the other roles that the caregiver plays, and you can see that they're pretty significant. Sometimes the caregiver needs to be a peacemaker. Sometimes the caregiver needs to be your life coach. And this is why it's important that for Christians, your caregiver is also a Christian that understands your faith and is able to speak to you about things that are touching you and troubling you in your spirit. A caregiver is also a crisis manager. When things are going sideways and you're not able to handle all of those things, your caregiver will do that. Your caregiver is your protector. There are people that may be coming in that want to do things for you or think things should go a certain way, and that's not what you want. That's not what you need. You know things are wrong. You have to protect. The caregiver protects you as a cancer patient. And from a legal perspective, oftentimes the caregiver is the healthcare power of attorney. And what that means is they're a person that can make decisions for you when you cannot make decisions for yourself because of your health condition. So if you're, for example, if you're in surgery and you're under anesthesia and a decision has to be made about your health, well, your healthcare power of attorney can make those decisions if you set that up ahead of time. If there's any situation where you're unable to make healthcare decisions, that's what the healthcare power of attorney gives to that person, and that's why oftentimes it's the caregiver. because they're the one that stays closest with you. They may follow you into the doctor's visits, and have access to your medical information and records and all that. So it's a pretty big role there. Um, the other thing is it's very demanding. It's inconvenient. It's draining. It's potentially harmful to one's well-being. Oftentimes, caregivers are the ones that give out before the person receiving the health care, because they're taking on all this extra work and burden on top of what they were normally doing before. And unfortunately, sometimes it's unappreciated. But despite all these truths, the role of the caregiver is essential and is assumed without hesitation, because it is most often performed out of love. It is love for the patient. It's love for you if you are the patient. They're doing this out of love because they know that you need the help and you can't do it by yourself. So this is why we say you need a caregiver. So then next, what we do after our Mindset Monday to try to get us in the right frame of mind, then we go on to Tip Tuesday, where we look for some type of quote. It's not a scripture. It's just a quote that we find that is aligned with that mindset that we would like for you to have as you are in this stage of your cancer journey. So this week, our Tip Tuesday is: a real friend is one who takes the hand of his friend in times of distress and helplessness. So it's true that there will be times in your cancer journey where you will be in distress and you will feel helpless. And that's what the caregiver steps in, and they take your hand through all of that. There's also scripture that backs this up. And so on Wednesday, we do our Wisdom Wednesday, which is a scripture. And this week's Wisdom Wednesday, we look at Ecclesiastes 4:10, and it says, if one falls down, his friend can help him up. Pity the man who falls down and has no one to help him up. So this scripture was selected to kind of speak to that last question in the Think About It Thursday, which is, are you having difficulty accepting help? Well, trust me, as one who has gone through a cancer journey on my own, a life-threatening cancer journey, there were many times when I had fallen down and I could not get up on my own. And if it wasn't for Vanessa, if it wasn't for others that were there, I'm not sure what I would have done. So if you don't have a caregiver, scripture says, pity the man who falls down and has no one to help him up. So that brings us back to our Think About It Thursday questions, and I will ask them again. And that is, think about the role of a caregiver. Do you have one? Are you thankful for yours and the roles he or she has taken on? Is it difficult for you to accept help? Hopefully not, but I hope that this little time you'll take to think about it. And if you don't have a caregiver, I strongly encourage you to get one. And as Christians, that caregiver should also be another Christian, so they can understand what you're talking about from a spiritual perspective. Now I want to take this last little minute to, I'm excited about what's coming up. We are going to have a workshop this coming November 11th, and it is called Hope's Melody. And we're going to be talking about the reasons for hope as you go through your cancer journey. So this is happening on Saturday, November 11th, from 10 to 12. And so there is a page out there. I thought I had it queued up. Maybe I don't, but I will put down the link for it. I think I can do that much for you. Hang on. Yeah, here we go. So this is the link for it. Um, that if you go to this link, you'll see the registration form, or at least the flyer that tells you about it. And then there's at the bottom of it, there's a place to click to um, to register for it. And we would love to see you there. It's a virtual event, so you don't have to go anywhere. You just have to be there from 10 to 12. We'll be taking a couple of 15-minute breaks in there. So it's really 90 minutes. So I think, though, it'll be very helpful. So hopefully you'll be able to attend and to save the date, Saturday, November 11th from 10 to 12. And I look forward to seeing you there. Well, it looks like our time is up, and hopefully this has been helpful to you as we continue down on our cancer journey, how we are transforming it to a spiritual, purposeful journey of faith. Until next week, take care, and we'll talk again. Bye-bye.